Hey, everybody, this is To The Point with Tanya Tyler on Outdoor Trail Magazine. This morning, we are talking with the reigning FLW Angler of the Year, two-time FLW winner, almost $700,000 winnings in his short career, South Carolina's Anthony Gagliardi. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now, you're a young guy, but you have been on the FLW Tour as a pro since 2000. Did you fish right out of college?
Actually, I did. I actually fished during college. My last 2 years, my junior and senior year, I fished on the co-angler side. So, I was still fishing some local tournaments as a pro all throughout college. But when I first entered FLW Outdoors in the FLW Tour, that was my final 2 years of college. Then when I graduated, I did switch over to the pro side.
Now, do you feel that having a college degree has really helped you out being a pro fishing?
Absolutely. My particular degree was mechanical engineering. So, there's some direct correlation between some of the things that I learned and some of the way that I look at baits and try to design baits. But aside from that, just having the degree, no matter what it is, I think is a major help. When you first start out as a professional fisherman, you're not quite sure what to expect. You never know what's going to happen. So having that degree, it kind of eased my mind a little bit. I didn't have the pressure on me that I had to make it doing that, and that was my only shot at being successful in life, and just go out and fish. And if it was meant to be, then it was meant to be. But if not, I had something to fall back on.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have something to fall back on, but we like to think that fishing's going to be successful for us. Talking to Anthony Gagliardi. We're going straight to the listeners. Alex from North Carolina knows that you're sponsored by Lucky Craft. What is your best color pointer for stained water?
For stained water, I like the chartreuse with blueback. That's my favorite color, whether it be a crankbait or jerkbait. And the pointer, especially the pointer 100, is a really good stained water jerkbait because it's a little bit bigger, has a bigger profile, and it's loud underwater. I'm sure if you've used it when you fish it, it's noticeably louder than other jerkbaits.
All right, Anthony, give us the insight to your strength. Mark from Indiana wants to know, what makes you such a great sight fisherman? How do you keep from spooking the bedfish in clear water?
When the water's really clear, a lot of fish are more spooky than others, and you have to just learn you have to fish for these fish at a distance. And the way I approach bed fishing, I get as close to a bedfish as it'll allow me, because the closer you are to it, of course, the better you can see it. The better you can see how it reacts to your bait. But in super clear water, a lot of times you're forced to back out off that fish, and you just have to pay real close attention, not so much to the fish, but you just have to pay attention for the bite. When you feel that fish bite, or if you feel your bait move, you just have to be ready to set the hook. Okay, so then what do you do when the bedfish won't bite? Do you have like a secret go-to bait? I pretty much keep it simple when I'm bed fishing. Especially during the tournaments, I hate to spend too much time on a fish that that ends up not being catchable, and then you've wasted valuable time. So, if I catch fish off the bed, 9 times out of 10, it's either on a jig, a rubber jig, a tube bait, which everybody's familiar with bed fishing, or a weighted fluke, and maybe also a spot remover jig head nowadays. Those 4 baits, account for 90% of the bedfish that I catch, and if I'm having trouble catching on one of those 4 baits, and I don't feel like the fish is going to bite relatively soon, then if I'm in a tournament, I'm real likely to leave that fish and continue looking for another one.
Hopefully that other one will bite. Getting some fishing tips from Anthony Gagliardi this morning. Billy from Tennessee wants to know, how do you deal with the fishing pressure of an FLW Tour event with 200 boats? Does that make you use finesse fishing a lot more than you would like?
Definitely, I think it does. We've seen that trend here over the past couple of years. The 200 boats has a lot to do with it. Also, you have to take into account the unlimited practice. There's a lot of people out on that water for a long period of time before these tournaments start, co-anglers included. So I think you have seen a rise in the amount of finesse tactics that have been used to cash checks and even win here recently. You can win an FLW tournament, or any tournament for that matter, using finesse tactics. It's definitely something that we've had to add to our arsenal to be successful. So am I hearing, Anthony, that you kind of like finesse fishing then? Yeah, I do. I've grown up here in South Carolina. We have a lot of clear lakes here, so I was a little bit aware of the finesse tactics before I really started FLW, and that helped me a lot, because when we go to lakes like Beaver Lake and Fort Loud, and we've been to a lot of places where you have to use these finesse tactics to catch fish, and it's definitely something that I keep in my boat at all times and use it quite regularly in tournaments. I want to say thank you so much for spending some time this morning with us and giving us secret tips on bass fishing. You're more than welcome anytime.
Anthony Gagliardi on To the Point with Tanya Tyler and Outdoor Trail Magazine.